In this video, I'm going to show you how to use Excel to conduct all of the analysis required for the Pendulums Lab. Now make sure you're watching this in HD so that you have a clear picture of all the numbers and things I'm doing. I'll zoom in a little bit more. First thing, I've got my data in, and look, these are all numbers, right? Everything is a number, that's good. You don't want to put units beside these values like seconds, because we're going to have to use this data, and to use it, Excel has to recognize these things as numbers, and as soon as you put a letter, it stops reading this box as a number and instead reads what's inside it as text. So, like non-numerical text. So make sure you don't have any spaces, no seconds, no units. But that raises a question. Where do we put the units? Well, we put them in parentheses in the column heading, because all of these values below this heading have units of a second. Likewise here, and here, seconds. Right, mass, we measured the mass that was added in grams. Length was in centimeters. Amplitude was in degrees. So, whoops. How do I get a degree sign? Well, I go to Insert, Symbol, and if you're at the very top of the symbol chart, you click down here once, and it's the second one here on the right. So you double click it or you hit Insert, and now here it is, it's appeared. So close. Close the parentheses. And look at this, all of the text is spilling over. The columns are too small, too thin. So here's what you do. If you click on the letter B, it selects that whole column, right? If you click on B and you click and drag all the way over to here, now it's selecting all of these, right? So in general, if I click the line between B and C, this line here, if I double click it, it automatically adjusts the width of the column to fit the text. So here's the cool thing, now that's pretty cool, but here's a really cool thing. If I click and drag across all of these columns, and I just do the same thing, click between B and C, double click, now they've all been adjusted, which is really neat. See, mass added is bigger than period. So I'm going to move these in, just so that my tables are a little closer. And this is weird, why is my parentheses so big? So I come up and I highlight the parentheses, or in here I highlight it. I go to Home, 17.5, all of my text is 11. There we go, that's better. I'm going to highlight all my data. I'm going to center it. This is the vertical centering, and this is the horizontal centering, these two buttons. Alright, good. I'm on my way. First thing I need to do, I need to calculate the length, the square root of the length, right? That's what my page says. And I'm going to add that data. Well, I want it to be between here, E, and F. So here's how I insert a column. I right-click on F, I click the Insert button, and now I have another column. So here I'm going to have the square root of length, right? So I'll say length. Square root is no different from the 1/2 power. So length to the 1/2. Whoops, but I need this to be a superscript. And I'm going to have to include units, which will be meters to the 1/2. And I'll need this 1/2 as a superscript, so I know it's being raised to a power. So I highlight the 1/2, I click this font arrow at the corner, I do superscript, OK. Highlight the 1/2, font, superscript, OK. And I double click between F and G to make F fit the text that it contains. There, good. What else? I think that's it. I'm going to give it some borders. So I highlight, I want to highlight this. I click this is the borders button, and there's all these options. I just do outside border, and then I highlight these two and give those a border, and I'm going to give this a border. And I'm going to highlight these. Oops, I haven't calculated my lengths yet. I'll show you how to do that in a second. These, and I'm going to hold off on the border there because it's going to change. Highlight and give it a box, make it look kind of nice. Okay, so I have to calculate the length, the square root of the length. And here's the other thing. I've written meters to the 1/2. So first I'm going to have to change this into meters, then I'm going to have to take the square root of it, right? Now, Excel has a calculator function built in. You can use it as a calculator. Here's how you start with the calculations. You hit equals, and now Excel knows that there's an equation in this cell, this box. So I say equals this. Now you might think I should do equals 30.45 over 100. There, I've now converted it from centimeters to meters, and then I can square root this, the answer here. But what I'm going to do instead of typing the number out, don't do that. Don't type out the number. Instead, click on the cell. And you see this? It says E3 right here. So we're referring to the number in E3. E3. E3 is called a reference, okay? And references are really powerful. They do the same exact thing as typing 30.45, right? I'm still using the same number, whether I type 30.45 or reference the cell. It's no different. But here's why references are so good. If I then, now all I've done so far is divide by 100. We're going to have to square root it in a second. But if I take this cell, right, and I copy, Control C, and I'm going to click and drag this, and then I paste Control V into these cells, look at what happens. This equation references 1 to the left. This equation keeps the same reference, 1 to the left. This references 1 to the left, and this goes 1 to the left. So by moving or copying my equation down, the reference has also moved. That's why references are so powerful. Right? So I'm going to highlight this, give it a border now. Okay. Oh, but I haven't finished, have I? None of this is finished yet. Let me undo. Where am I? There. I've only taken it and changed it to meters. Now I have to take this whole thing here, and I need parentheses around it so I can square root it. And the way you square root is by typing square root, SQRT. Right? Square root. Enter. And now I can copy this down. And I can now give it a border. Good. Okay, time to insert some graphs. So you click Insert. Scatter is what we want. Scatter. Sometimes a bunch of stuff automatically pops up, right? Let's say you've got some boxes, some cells highlighted, and so when you insert, it fills your graph with other, what it thinks might be the data you're looking for. None of this is right. First thing is get rid of the series. We don't need that or want it. Now, look up here, I've got some chart tools that are popping up, right, where I've got all of my chart functions and buttons, shortcuts. So if I click off of my chart, so I'm going to click over on the table again, like over here somewhere, my chart tools disappear. So make sure you have your chart selected so you see the tools. Here's how you change the data to what we want. Click Design, select Data. All of these existing series, you click, remove, get rid of them all until there's none left. Now we're going to start fresh. Add a new series. A series is just a set of x, y values. So add, we don't give it a name. The x values for the first graph are amplitude. Then the y values, you have to highlight and delete this before you start clicking. Highlight the period as the y values. Hit OK. OK. Now this is kind of funny looking, right? It looks like it jumps around. But look over here. The origin is not 0, 0 as it should be. It's 1, 0. So you double click on the 1. Oops. Oh, there it goes. The minimum has been automatically made to be 1. Right? The minimum is 1. But it should be instead what I want it to be. I want it to be 0. So I'm fixing it at 0, and I hit close. And look at that. Now this is a different picture altogether. Right? So we're going to discuss what this means in class. Next thing I need to do is, oh, where are my chart tools? Where'd they go? Oh yeah, I need to click on my chart. Next thing, you go to Layout. We're going to add some axis titles. So you go Axis Title, Horizontal, and then Axis Titles Vertical. I'm going to do a rotated title. I click once to get onto the box, and then I click again to enter the box. And now I'm going to change this. What's my x quantity? It's amplitude. And you know what? I'm lazy. I don't want to go click the, I don't want to click insert symbol. So I'm just going to come over here, highlight this. I'm going to Control C to copy it. Then I come back, and I'm going to Control V to paste it. That was easy. Alright, this is period. Okay. Now I need a main title as well, so let me insert. Oh, where'd my tools go? Oh yeah, gotta click. So I go to layout, chart title. So notice there's axes over here, and then there's axis titles. So when you're adding titles, you need the axis titles farther to the left. Okay, let's do above chart. What should I call this? Effective amplitude on time? I don't know. Sorry, typing with one hand here. There it is. What a beauty. Now here's a really cool trick. I mean, this whole video is just filled with cool tricks, right? But here's a really cool trick. This is gonna save you a lot of time. You'll be really happy. You actually might think this is a cool trick. Probably not, but it's good. So I don't want to go through the rigmarole of creating a second graph, right? So here's what I do instead. I'm going to click on my graph, and I'm clicking it now and holding my click button, holding my mouse. And while holding my mouse down, I'm going to push Control with my other hand, and still holding Control, I let go of the mouse, and it makes a copy. See that? So you're thinking, okay, great. This is good and all, but I still have to select the data. No, you don't. If you click on the graph and then click on a data point, see these boxes? Purple means the x quantity. Right now, amplitude is on the x, purple. Period is blue. Blue is the y quantity. So I want the y quantity now to be this period, and I want the x quantity to be this, the length for the next graph. And look at that. So I'm going to change this to effect of length on time. And period is still the y-axis. Whoops. Now the x-axis is length in centimeters for this graph, right? Okay, let me move these graphs down to make way for my next graph. So I'm going to click, hit Control, I let go while still holding Control. And did I fix everything here? Yes. So now this is going to be my third raw data graph. Effect of mass on time. Maybe that should say period. That's not such a good title. Maybe I want to change the others. And this here is mass. And it's really the mass that we've added. And I click here, alright, now I move this over to here. Oh, and look, you can even click the boxes, so there's the move icon that allows you to move, and then there's the change size icon when you're at the corner. So I move this over, and then I go to the corner so I can change the size of my x value, of my x range. And look, that's a straight across line, just like this was kind of a straight across line. I mean, it fluctuates up and down, but it's basically just going straight across, straight line across. This does not go across. It's got some shape to it, some non-horizontal shape. Okay, the next thing I need is the last graph, which was the data analysis graph. So, data analysis graph, I click this, I'm going to make another copy, hit Control with my other hand. I'm holding Control while letting go of the mouse to make the copy. And I'm just going to call this, what should I call this? How about period versus the square root of length. So length to the 1/2. Maybe I'll say length. And I highlight 1/2. And I'm going to make this, go back to home to get the font button. I'm going to make this superscript. So period is here, and then on the other axis, the x-axis, this is where we put length to the 1/2. And the unit for that is meters to the 1/2. Right, I changed it from centimeters to meters before square rooting, before raising it to the 1/2 power. Let's make it superscript. Superscript here as well. Okay. Now, I want to come over here, and my y values will be length to the 1/2, with my x values as these. And interesting, huh? Look at that. Kind of a straight line here, isn't it? Yeah, fascinating. So, I have to add a trend line. So you right-click on a data point. If you right-click not on a data point, then you don't get the options you want. So you right-click on a data point, add trend line, make sure it's linear. You just it automatically chooses linear for your trend line, which is what you want. And you click to display the equation and display the r squared value, and you can click on the box to move it around so it's more visible, right? Like that. And look at this again. Oh my, this is pretty frustrating. We have as the origin 0 on the y-axis, but we have 0.54 on the x-axis. So you double-click this, change it from an automatically created minimum, fix it at 0, which is what we want. Hit close, and look at that, kind of grouped together. Okay, we're gonna work with this graph in the class. We're gonna finish up the data analysis together, but this is what you need. So what do? You can create a Word document, give it an MLA heading at the top, put your name, right? All the necessary info. And then I'm going to copy this, Control C, into the Word doc. So you put your name there. I want that table. I want this table. Control C, and paste that in. And you do this with this table and all of your graphs, and that's what you print and bring into class. So here is the last table, right? You just keep adding to it, make sure everything fits. Copy, Control C, add this in, Control V, and that's not so bad. If you want it to be a picture, you can click that Control and then paste as a picture, and now it's a picture. And likewise for these, do this one, then this, and then paste this as the last graph.